Where the hell have you been? Oh, that's right. You were busy. You let having a child get in the way of our work.
Dude, what
I'm
are
just
you talking
kidding.
about?
I'm
No,
just kidding, of course.
the truth of it is, Phil, all
What?
right, is that you were on vacation for the past week and a half
Hey, wait.
down
First,
there in Florida. Now you look good. You got a nice tan.
no,
We're
I
always,
don't.
yeah. I mean, it's a slight brighter edge of pink than what you usually
Oh,
are.
okay, good.
From
Okay,
your,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, okay. I got you.
You're
Well,
not
the big.
transparent anymore, so congratulations.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you. Somebody said, "Hey, you got a tan?" I said, "I've never had a tan in my life, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about."
you
And
just
the other
burned.
thing is, hey, wait. Last Monday or 6 days ago, you had a great day. What was it? Tell us what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that's right. So yes, last Monday, I had to slow down.
All
I
right,
don't I don't
okay.
want to like let everybody know my personal business, bro. All right. And I also don't know if I have permission from my warden and my wife in allowing this information out. But yeah, so last Monday, my wife gave birth to our second child
Right.
and baby girl, and we're extremely happy. And it's an adjustment, obviously, with two in the house now and all that stuff too, and managing that. But it's still an exciting time for us, and she's beautiful, and my wife's doing great. So very grateful for that opportunity to be a father the second time over, and for you to now
Uh-huh.
have your seventh grandchild. Correct?
Right. Right. As my dad would say, what's going on up there? I mean, when are they going to have more kids? You know,
Yeah.
of course, my dad had eight, and he always used to say to your mother, Diana, what are y'all doing? I mean, you should have at least 6 or 7 kids. And I'm going, Dad, I'm not a farmer anymore, and I don't know, we maybe just don't think like you. but
That's
uh,
right. That's right.
yeah, my dad, we always laugh about it. My brothers, everybody, we laugh. Yeah, he had a lot of kids because he wanted farm hands. Didn't want to pay the help to help
Yeah.
do everything, but oh well, all good. He was a good dude, my dad. Good
Well,
baseball player, could really throw. He
yeah.
really could really throw. You know, even though he's probably about five, I'm gonna say 5'9", maybe. What do you think? Somewhere, but long arms, big
Yeah.
hands, and he could throw it. So
The
that's what.
height of the height of the family comes from Barbara, your mother, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I guess my mom, if she'd have stood up straight, because yeah, I know it is terrible. But I would say she was 5'9" or 10", and a
Okay.
tall 5'9" or 10".
Yeah.
But back then when she grew up, you just didn't see that many tall women, and she was
Right.
always so self-conscious about her height that she would literally bend over sometimes and, "Mom, stand up,"
Yeah.
But nowadays, if you're tall, anything, tall man or woman, you're like, man, look at me.
That's
It's
right.
it's a great thing. So,
Well,
oh
we
well.
know where our family got all of our size in our hands from, and that was absolutely from her. As Christopher always used to embarrass, Barbara as much as possible, Grandma at the dinner table when we're playing cards, all that kind of stuff. He'd be like, "Damn, Barbara, you got some big hands over there." She'd be like, "Christopher, how dare you?" All right, she'd get so upset with him,
But
but
she would take her hands and put them under the table
yeah, right.
and like start hiding them. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God. Yeah. But he didn't mean it. He also
yeah,
said with Mike Florio once, he goes, well, God, this and that. If you saw my grandmother, she could have been middle linebacker for the Bears. I'm like, oh my God.
oh my God, is right.
That was the worst. Of course, all my brothers and sisters who heard it, they thought it was funny, but oh my gosh, my mom.
Yeah, well, she was broad-shouldered. She definitely, had a lot of stuff that you would look for in the measurable aspects, of a middle linebacker that way. So,
Oh wow. Okay, let's move on from that. All right, good. Well, we got a lot of the draft coming up here in a few days. I'm
we love
excited
you,
about it.
Barbara.
Yes, we do. And I don't know about you. I love watching the draft. And I would say about 90% of even the third day, I watch about 90% of that.
Yeah.
I might go out and get something to eat and miss a few picks but I like listening to it all just to see the guys that are drafted, of course. And I'm really anxious to see where everybody goes in the draft. But we got a quarterback here, which I think makes it even more exciting.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on this year's draft. I mean, honestly, at this point, with just all the media coverage, we don't even really know who else is being drafted in other positions. So that will be exciting in itself, too, when you watch the draft to see the other positions, because, yeah, the main focus is just what's happening with these quarterbacks, how many are going. The projections lately have been 5 to 6 in the first round. Will that actually come true this upcoming class? And it's, leading up to it right now, would you think that this is one of the best draft classes that we've seen in a while, as far as the 1 through 6 of Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Drake May, and JJ McCarthy?
Well, I'd have to think about that a second. I'm not looking at it going, wow, this may be the greatest quarterback draft in history. That has never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I can't even name them all anymore. But when Josh Allen came out with Baker Mayfield, right, those two, who else was in that draft?
Was that Lamar's year as well?
Lamar Jackson, yes. So that
Yeah.
we got two big timers right away. So that tells me something.
Right.
And of course, we can go back to Eli, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger. That was pretty good. And of course, the other one,
good.
1984, right? No, 83. Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, just that whole group turned out to be John Elway, of course, too. But it turned out to be, to me, that's probably the greatest quarterback draft that I can remember.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But,
go ahead.
Well, no, this is a good one. I think they all, not all, but that's what we're going to talk about. First off, real quick, next week, we're going to make some videos of these guys, the good and bad of their throwing and what they do.
Right.
And explain and then talk about how that's going to translate or affect anything as they go into the NFL. So I'm looking forward to that. I got them all on my computer ready to go. And I said to you, I'll arrange them and put them in order for you, the good, this, all that. And you didn't say, no, don't worry, Dad, I'll do that. You didn't say a word. You were just, for once, you were really quiet. And you didn't jump in there to help me. But
hey,
I
man.
look forward. No,
I trust that you'll be able to handle it. So, we'll just go off of the work that you put in for it.
All right. One thing happens, Matt, is nobody's in our house now. Everybody always asks me, what's it like being an empty nester? Because they actually think that I'm going to say, oh, it's great. It is great. I just make a meal for me and my wife, and, we don't have to clean up as much because the house is not dirty with everybody running around, but it's all good though. So, I don't know how I got off of that topic.
Yeah,
but
great pep talk.
We're going to do that early next week, so that's why I want to pub it a little. I think it's different from what a lot of people do. In fact, I've seen none that tells me the good and shows me the good and bad.
So what we're going to do is we'll go into the studio at IMP Studios where we did the regular season show from, and we're just going to use a few of the examples that Big Phil has accumulated through film and just break down some of the positives, a little bit of the negatives, as far as what each and every quarterback in this year's draft class brings to the table, why, this class, more so than I think any other class, has been so polarizing as far as discussion, who likes who, where, and what, all that stuff, who's more deserving, all that kind of conversation. But we're just going to get into just the facts of, like, this is what this person really strives in extremely well. This is where he'll need to improve at the next level if he wants to be successful and raise the bar where he currently is. And I think those are always fun discussions. And I think this is why this draft class, and even really just any draft class involving a lot of quarterbacks, is always worth debating and discussing, because there is no right or wrong way to play the position. We see that here with the list that we have here in the top 6. And it really is just like, what do you value more in the individual? And also, too, how good are the coaches as far as building an offense and a scheme and a team around that individual to making sure that they can improve each and every year at the toughest position in sports?
Well, listen, everybody, I say, and I say it all the time on CBS, and anytime I do stuff, I just go, look, when you're a quarterback in the NFL, year one is a great learning experience. And the game is, I don't care where you play and what you do in college, it's different. And you have to be more accurate than ever in the NFL. And you got, like I always say, make the routine throws and the special ones. And some of these guys do have some things that would bother you a little, but hey, once you get the lead, that's your job, is to, improve, to change your throwing motion, to make it more efficient, to be better, to be a better quarterback. And a lot of times, I know there's quarterback coaches everywhere. You're one. You coach a lot of kids. I come over and stick my nose in there every once in a while when you let me. But you'll figure it out, but somebody can help you too. And somebody always says, maybe it was even one of my coaches, well, you just can't change a quarterback's mechanics. And then let me tell you, that is so wrong and so stupid. I don't know what to say. Of course you can. And I see it all the time. Many star quarterbacks that I can name right off the top of my head. Well, I might have to look at a list now. My mind can't, it can only, keep up with a few. I can't keep the whole list.
No,
But
I got your list here though for you.
Yeah, but guys have changed. So we're going to kind of say some of these guys, right? Talk about what they've done and changed and why. Then we'll get into the draft guys, however you want to do it, about how they can change, and they will change, hopefully, for the team that drafts them to be better, more efficient quarterback.
Well, the example that I always use too for just the fans at home to understand about just throwing mechanics and just being a quarterback is just like a golfer. I mean, you talk to any of the great golfers in the world. Let's just take Scotty Scheffler as an example, right? I mean, I'm sure he has changed his motion or his mechanics and just about any one of his clubs that he's used through the years multiple times over. And really a lot of it too is just for experimentation, right? To acquire more knowledge and understanding as far as what you're doing, what works best, trying new things. Oh, the old way was better. No, the new way is better. This grip is better. This works better. So, those things I think are just something that quarterbacks continually have to do. I was in a quarterback room with Matt Ryan when he won the MVP, and he was still, trying to figure out how to throw the ball more efficiently in year, I don't know what that was for him, maybe like 14 or 15 of his career. So it never ends. It's always going on. And what everybody does, I feel like at the position too is, what did me and Geno Smith do when we were two rookies in the New York Jets quarterback room? Let's put on Aaron Rodgers. Let's watch Aaron Rodgers. What did they do offensively? What does he do as far as putting his body in a position to throw certain throws? Is he looking this defender off here to throw this throw over there? And this is constantly what you're doing. You just, as you would say, as the evaluator, you're just acquiring more and more knowledge as you go, right? And then taking what you can to apply that to your game and better yourself for the long run.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let me do this. And you're right.
Yeah.
Golf, nobody's winning major championships with a bad golf swing. Okay. And, I heard him talking on TV even today. Scotty Scheffler, they're just like on, wow, it's so good. And what he does and all these other things, it's really cool. But how about this? Aaron Rodgers. You might be too young, Matt. Do you remember his throwing motion when he came out of college?
Of course I do.
Yeah. How was that working? It wasn't working. That's what it was. It wasn't working because if he'd have shown the talent that he really has now earlier, they'd have said to Brett Favre, you might have to leave before even now. We got to get you out because this other guy is really, really good. But Aaron Rodgers changed his motion dramatically. And when he became the starter, it was like out of nowhere, boom. I actually asked him this question once about his motion. He just goes, and I'm not going to get into details. He just goes, I just decided I'm going to do something that's really natural.
Right.
And boom, that says it all.
Now also too, a lot of credit goes to Aaron, but also what is he doing every single day in practice before he becomes the starter of the Green Bay Packers?
Well, he's watching Brett.
That's damn right, Philly.
Yeah,
He's watching Brett Favre. He is seeing what this guy does. I mean, there was nobody that was more relaxed and natural with just dropping back and throwing it. Brett Favre didn't even know who the nickel linebacker or the nickelback was until like his 10th year in the league. So to think that he was worried about how many steps he was taking to throw X route or this route in a certain play, that guy was just playing the game. He was literally just dropping back, being loose, being relaxed, and putting everything he had into the damn football every time.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brett Favre, I mean, come on. He had all the physical requirements you'd want to see to be a good thrower. He was natural. He just had natural God-given ability. But I'm going to go down the list here real quick, Matt. Yeah. Tom Brady. I could show you things. He turned into a totally different thrower and got more powerful as he stayed in the league. And I'll never forget this. Bruce Arians made a comment. He goes, hell, I've been in this league for a long – I've never seen anybody who likes to throw the ball more than Tom Brady. Right. I mean, he just throws and throws and throws. And I go, that's why, because, man, when you do something well, let's do it more. Right. It's like you don't go to dinner and take a bite of something and go, well, that's great. I don't think I'll eat any more of that, though, because it's great.
Got to limit my reps,
Yeah, that's Jordan Love. We saw him this year. He has changed his motion and everything since he was at Utah State to now the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers a lot. And I'm sure he learned a lot from from Aaron Rodgers, and it shows when you watch him play. And he's
Right.
going to be a better thrower of the ball next year than he was this year.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow decided after his rookie year, I need to get a little more pep on the ball. So he changed his motion. Not only getting more pep on the ball his second year, he got more his third year. And then
Right.
unfortunately this past year, he dealt with some injuries. I thought Dak Prescott, when I told you these names, you kind of go, Dak Prescott? It's not that he changed a lot. He just got more relaxed and had more upper body movement. I thought he threw with more power and was spinning the ball better than I'd seen him in the past. That's just me.
Yeah.
And then the big one. Here's the big one. Who is it?
You
Who's
tell
the
me,
big
Blair.
one?
Let's go.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I thought this past year his motion got like it was almost perfect. And that's when he settled down and really started playing and not moving around as much. He became a machine throwing the ball with the right pace, extremely accurate, and made it much easier for the receivers to catch the ball.
Right.
I mean, I thought early in the year, everybody, he needs receivers. Well, hell, he was throwing the ball so damn hard. Even a pro couldn't catch it sometimes. I mean, so that's just to tell everybody if the pros can change and make some of these adjustments, that these quarterbacks in college right now going to the pros are probably going to make some of those too.
Yeah, and I even saw some clips too of Patrick Mahomes when he was at an Elite 11 camp when he was in high school, and he kind of had that Jeff Tedford, Aaron Rodgers thing where he was holding the football up by his shoulder. And, to think that when I saw that image that this player would become the best player at the position in the NFL, a generational type of player, it was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, wow, This guy is going to become Patrick Mahomes. And if I was there at this event, I would say he was just okay, had no pep on the ball. Everything was questionable. Don't worry, your glasses are straight.
I know. I got them. Go ahead.
But it just goes to show you that you're just constantly evolving and getting better and getting more comfortable with the position. And a lot of that too, for some of these quarterbacks, when you know the offense, when you're comfortable with your coaching staff, when you feel like you have a great understanding of what is being asked of you each and every play, then you really can start to dissect more deeply into like how you feel in the pocket, how you're presenting yourself to the pocket, how to make sure that your feet are underneath you and turning into your back foot properly each and every throw, right? And following through it. So I think these are key things that as you develop, I mean, just like you with your own career, I feel like a lot of people, even Peter King mentioned just how, what was it in the 93 season, how, he thought that you were throwing the ball and playing the position as best as you have ever had. And that was your 15th year in the league.
Well, yeah, maybe, all I can say to that is, Matt, I had Jim Fossil for a few years. He told me a few things, but we never got to the extreme where I would be right now. And I always say this, we laugh about it. I go, I wish I knew back then what I know now. Man, I just laughingly say this, there'd be a damn statue of me outside that stadium if I knew, because I threw the ball better once I retired than I ever did in my career. Right. Just because I started teaching and I started teaching myself. Right. And but it's like Aaron Rodgers.
But to go into this a little bit more though, right? What you're saying, your generation though was pretty interesting as far as quarterback history goes.
Right.
You Elway, Marino, all that stuff. I just like, you guys really did just kind of drop back and play. You weren't so caught up in, that West Coast offense like Montana and Walsh, where it was like, all right, hit that fifth step, one hitch here, second hitch here, look here. When I watch film of the Giants tape, it's like you start a drop and then you turn it into a back pedal, and then you're sliding to your right, and it's just like you're just kind of playing and just feeling it out. And I feel like a lot of the players that you played with, I mean, Doug Williams, Schrader was like that too. Both the guys there in Washington. There's a few others that I'm like kind of blanking on right now, but that generation I think was very free at the position.
Right.
Whereas then like the mid 90s, early 2000s, everybody got real tight and real, gotta get on top of the football and be machine like. And I feel like that's when quarterbacks were really kind of like just okay as far as a whole. Whereas like your generation, I feel like as a whole group, dudes can really just drop back and play because they were staying relaxed and rhythmic.
I laugh about it all the time, and not that I watch any old films, but it's the fact that I backpedaled so much You
Oh
know,
man,
I never had
a lost art though.
Oh, it is
in football play, right?
It's such great body movement, and it's so good for you. And you know, I know you do it as a teacher, and I do it with kids too. Learn to backpedal because it just gives you more body movement. Now you can get the rhythm of stepping into throws, and I think it helps everything. Makes
Well,
hey,
Tom Brady and the New England Patriots offense, one of the best offenses in the history, you know, when they went in their undefeated season, when he was in the shotgun, he backpedaled a lot of the times, right? And
right,
then later in his career, he was constantly backpedaling out of the shotgun, you know, and it really was like left foot forward, right foot was back for the righties, and he would shuffle back and he'd see the whole field wide open. And I remember too that even Kyle Shanahan and Matt Ryan, you know, we were implementing that same type of footwork into our stuff because
wow,
there was a great way to blend quick game and drop back passing concepts with this back pedal where it didn't have like such an aggressive tell, you know,
right,
than it did
right.
like the other way. Right. So I think those things are interesting, and it definitely a lost art that I hopefully, you know, some quarterbacks will continue to get back to more.
Well, I'll go back to this real quick. You know, you talk about when Aaron Rodgers and all them are holding on their shoulder. Oh, this will make you the release. It's quicker, which I'm still trying to figure out. But it's like a golfer. Well, why take the backswing? Let's just start from the top, everybody. Let's hit it from there. How would that
Yeah,
look?
right.
And we'd see. I'd be able to go on the pro tour if we made them all do that.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of funny to hear some of these things and watch people with new concepts, what to do, and all this. And you know, of course, we're evaluators of that, so we're very critical of anybody that thinks they know. So,
Yeah.
but it is fun. But go ahead. Let's move on.
We know a lot because we know we don't know a lot. So let's go through the quarterbacks right here as far as
Yeah, let's talk about them.
what we should they improve, or are they ready to go day one, right?
Okay.
Caleb Williams. Let's just start with number one. Caleb Williams. Does he have to improve his throwing mechanics?
No. I think they're really good. I mean, I listen, physically, I don't know if I see anything about Caleb Williams I don't like. I mean, he controls the football better than anybody in the draft. I mean, I watched so much of him the last couple of years. I never seen him throw it and go, oh, they got away from him. It was way too high. And, you know, it's not that he has the biggest hands in it out there or anything like that. He just is, it's natural. I mean,
Right.
I'm sure he was a great thrower when he was young, in baseball, football, whatever it is. Probably can shoot and from 25 feet, you know, like an NBA player and hit it. I mean, he's just got that natural talent. So yeah. I'll go back to this. And I don't know why more people haven't said, which I don't even know if we have. He's Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Except his tape and everything I watched was actually better than Patrick Mahomes when he was at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
So, but it's still out there. Oh, I don't know if you can play this way. Well, he'll figure it out and settle down where he needs to and all that. Patrick Mahomes did.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes turned the ball over tremendously at Texas Tech, and just this past year, I mean, he didn't turn the ball over at all. You know, I mean, he was against the Baltimore Ravens, you know, in the playoffs, and he throws the ball over 30 times and didn't throw one football into danger the entire game. Right.
Hey,
so with reps and experience, you can improve this.
No question. So what do you agree with me on Caleb Williams?
I do. I think Caleb Williams is a top 10 thrower of the football in the NFL the day that he steps on an NFL field as a starter.
I do too.
Not even a question. All right, let's go to I'm going to mix up the list too, just so we're not going one through whatever everyone's projected top 6 are. All right, Drake May. Does he have to improve his mechanics?
Absolutely. And, you know, and I think if you have any eye about this, you can figure it out. Right. And we've said, and everybody says, I'm not going to pick on him either here. But, you know, he misses too many ordinary throws. That's right. You know, like I always keep saying, you got to make those throws. You can't miss them in the NFL. Right. But one thing that he does really well, which he should look at and see and use it with all throws, is when he throws it deep, that is by far his best. To me, that's his best talent going into the league. Yeah, he's big. He moves around well. It's not great. It's not. Let me get into this too real quick.
It's not Josh Allen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not as fast, not as mobile, and you're not going to have Josh Allen's arm. But he still has a top flight, strength-wise NFL arm. But he does, when he throws it down the field, his mechanics and he's able to get his whole body into the throw, and the ball just smokes out of his hand, and it spins. The great thing is in this day and age, what we watch him on, you can see the spin of the ball, and man, he can really spin it when he throws it down the field with power.
What other technique does he do really well that he should look into more to applying it into the pocket and how he turns and throws?
On the run?
On the run, right? I mean,
oh my God.
I feel like on the run and throwing the deep football, like these are two traits that if he can apply this philosophy in the pocket, he's gonna change his game.
I think he might be the best thrower on the run of all these guys we talk about. I mean, he can roll right and launch it. I saw him. I forgot what game it is. I got it written in my notes somewhere. He threw it about 60 yards on the run to this right, and he wasn't gaining ground. He was going sideways.
Right.
And he cleared and he threw it a mile up in the air, and it was for a touchdown. And I went, oh my God, that was really special. But you're not going to be a successful NFL quarterback if you miss ordinary throws.
Right.
And I even write, and you and I both do this, I think. I write, how good are you at throwing screens?
Yeah.
Even in the NFL, throwing a lot of screens. You got to catch that ball, and you got to drop that arm or whatever it is, and you got to get it out of your hand and throw it with power and accuracy. It sounds, you think this is easy. I think it's a lot harder than people think.
It definitely is.
And
I think Drake has taken the proper steps to improve his motion. Now he just needs to kind of really let it become more natural. That was what I really noticed in the pro day. We discussed this during his pro day review. You could see that he's implementing this new thought process on how to throw and how to get his body in position. It just didn't look quite natural yet. So hopefully with repetitions, again, thinking this way going forward, that will definitely improve.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this. I got some teams on my list that I think really fit him big time. And so we'll talk about that on Monday when we show some film and talk about it again. Or Tuesday. I got to work on your schedule whenever you say you can do things.
You are such a diva. It's all about you. So
what do you mean I'm a diva?
Let's go to the next quarterback, and that is Jaden Daniels. Daniels.
Go ahead. You go first. What do you think? Give me what's outstanding. Give me a little hint on what you want to correct.
Yeah, well, it's going to be exactly what we did in our little pre-show, right? Is that, you made a great point, and it's so true. Jaden Daniels, I think, as far as mechanics go, reminds me as much as C.J. Stroud as any other quarterback with his motion, with the consistency of his arm angle, his body position, right? It looking the same each and every rep. My one concern, though, too, and you had the same concern that you brought up, is just, really turning into it and throwing it a little bit more aggressively at times, right? A little bit more of an upper body movement and relaxed, fluid follow through more consistently. I think sometimes he kind of short arms a little bit when he's trying to throw with power. He does have that quick release, but I think this will be something that he'll need to apply a little bit more to his game, at the NFL level more consistently than what we saw at LSU.
Right. We'll show that in film, and we'll talk about it even more in detail. A couple things. I like to see a little more power in the football, more upper body movement to, when you move your upper body, that's really about the only way you can incorporate your legs into the throw, right? I always love that they go, come on, Sims, get your legs in the throw. Well, what the hell does that mean? How do I do that? Can somebody show me? Well, now I know. I found it out 30 years too late. But it is true. So it wouldn't take much to tweak him to get him to do that. More spin on the ball, more power, which no matter what we say, make all the throws in the NFL, but you got to have the arm and all the talent to make special throws.
Right.
And he has it. He's just got to be touched up just a little bit. But I think you're right in saying that, and to get more power, you got to brace against something. And you got to brace against the inside of your right leg, your right foot. And if you brace that against the wall or whatever I'm saying, in the ground, now you can really go off of it and let it go. So we'll see. We'll see if that improves. But he'll do what I did my first throw in the NFL. I turn, practice. I look over here. It's a curl route by the backside receiver. He looks wide open to me, and I throw it, just kind of casually. And Harry Carson goes underneath it, gets it, runs for a touchdown. I went, holy Christ. That's the linebacker who looks like a damn D tackle. And
Right.
he ran it down, and I just went, ooh, got to start putting a little more pep on these throws. So
Right.
that might happen to Jaden Daniels too. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Who's next?
All right, let's go to JJ McCarthy. Does he have to improve his mechanics?
Yes. Yes.
In what way?
Well, you and I talked about this too. The motion is long, and the one bugaboo I see a lot, his motion get long, and he gets under the ball. So his hips go out. If your hips go forward, where's your shoulders going to go? They're going to go like this a little. We're not throwing it deep. We're throwing it across the field. And now your arm is pinned under you a little more than usual. And he did a great job. I saw it not many times, but I saw it enough. I saw it in every game. He could still contort himself, and he knew he was in trouble, and he could keep his hand in a right position to still complete the pass.
Right.
Am I right? You remember seeing some of those throws?
I do, yeah.
You watched him in person a couple times.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, my biggest concern really for him, right, to add to that point that you're saying about just the hips and the shoulder tilt as well, is that his feet just get a little bit too wide. They get outside the frame of his shoulders, right? And I feel like with the wide stance that way, as you move up in the pocket or move throughout your read in the pocket, you kind of just keep getting a little bit more separated. And as he does that, he dips into his back leg a little bit too more, right? His knee, his right knee should be solid. It should kind of be that brace that generates that power from the ground up. And he gets occasionally, it gets a little soft, and that's why that whole structure kind of tilts back and he gets caught that way. But, the arm talent is there, and to go along with the fact that occasionally his motion would be too long as well to go with it, too much of a wind up with the wide base. This is where I think a lot of throws from him that should be easy completions got away from him. And this is something that he's going to have to improve in the NFL game, because I don't know if he really, sees all that great down the field a lot, in the pocket. And I think that was because he's just so wide with his feet. He actually made himself shorter in the pocket than he really needed to.
I'll say this too about him. He is, let's put it in the terms of a baseball pitcher. Right now, I see one pitch.
Yeah.
Right. I just see fastball. I don't see the balls, to throw a ball over the top of somebody and have it turn over quick and, be caught by somebody behind the linebacker or the safety, whoever it is. You got to use your body. You can't go, I'm going to touch it. This isn't a basketball. You got to use your whole body to turn the ball over quick like that.
Right.
And I have not seen that throw from him, but he does make a lot of good power throws, and put him in an offense. Well, I won't even get into that. Well, because we'll do that later or early next week. So, but yeah, I think he needs more throws, more experience, but there's no doubt physically he's got talent to do a lot of things. Michael
Penix, does he have to change his motion?
Man, the one thing that worries me about him is that he's got such a great arm and such good hands. And of course, they're almost 11 inches, whatever, that from across. I mean, it's incredible. So he can make all the throws with his feet flat on the ground. Yeah. And when he does that, he still completes a ton of good throws. Right. But the release does get much lower at times. Mm-hmm. I mean, much lower. And, the NFL pocket's not like the college. Even you go against a bad rushing defensive line, they're still going to be around you.
Yeah.
And, unless you can find every hole in between the guys, that's tough. That's my biggest knock, getting his feet stuck in the ground. And there he is running the 4.5 something at his pro day. And, I said, he's got to move more. But as I watched it, I said this to you earlier. When I watched all of his film, I go, damn, he moves more than I thought, because now I'm concentrating. Yeah. So it caught me. I kind of went, okay, I got to back off that stupid statement. But I still would like him to move more. But he just moved more than I thought. So
yeah, you want him to pepper his feet a little bit more consistently when he's in the pocket, right? Yeah. And not get so just locked into the ground and relying on just pure arm talent and arm width, right, with his motion. And I think just like with good coaching, that kind of realizes that an offense that is aware of just how to improve at the quarterback position, I think this is something that he could absolutely improve upon, because the upper body stuff, the arm talent, all that, the experience to throw the football aggressively down the field, outside the numbers, all that kind of stuff. That stuff is there. Now just to clean up as far as being more active with his feet, right? when it doesn't call upon him to do that, right? Because that's where I feel like he moves great. If there's a free runner, he's avoiding him, and he is sliding, and he's making a great throw. But he needs to kind of move as if he has that free runner at him all the time in the NFL, right? To really kind of make to that next level, right?
Yeah.
And the intermediate stuff, I think he'll improve with too, with just kind of manipulating, his arm and, getting on top of the football, on those throws, quote unquote, as far as just hand throws over the middle.
Good.
So now, last guy, Bo Nix.
Right.
Does Bo Nix have to improve his throwing mechanics?
Well, listen, all we hear about is that, his arm is not as strong as some people want.
Right.
And, it confuses me. I was not happy with how he looked at the combine. His pro day, it was good. It was. But when I watched the games, that's what really confuses me. In every game, not some, every game, I see power throws where he really lets it go down the middle of the field to the outside. I mean, I saw so many 10-yard out routes when they're on the right hash to the receiver on the left who was catching the ball on the sideline.
Right.
Now, the college hashes are wider, so it's a tougher throw than even it is in the NFL. So that kind of confused me. But, I got to tell you, and we'll talk about this more next week and where we think he'll be drafted. I really like Bo Nix. I mean, he's kind of lost in this whole thing. I just can't imagine he's not going to be able to run any offense. His dad's a coach, all the years in college, all the throws. You can tell he's a really, kind of a leader, got that vibe with all of his teammates and everything like that. So that's just one of my thoughts, or a couple thoughts.
Very, very underrated athlete too. Very underrated athlete.
Yeah, there you go.
I think right for Bo during this process, think that him and his camp, who was coaching him through the pro day, through his combine, they kind of played it safe. They did let's just have a solid performance because your resume kind of speaks for itself. And I think that really has kind of hurt him a little bit. I think they really should have gone all out for it. They really should have. The same way that Michael Penix did, the same way that JJ McCarthy did in his pro day. Just go all out and show off, and don't worry about the fact that you miss a few maybe, right? Or one or two gets away from you, because we know it doesn't get away from him too much. 70+% completion percentage 2 years in a row. We know that he's accurate, right? We know Bo, to me, is one of those guys, him and Michael Penix. It's really just because of the JJ McCarthy hype, but these guys have proven resumes for half a decade, and yet still we're trying to find ways to put JJ McCarthy above them because he just, he's just got it, and it's driving me nuts, man. So Bo Nix go ahead, Phil.
But no, I don't want you to give it all out because I want you to save it for when we get ready to do the draft stuff next week.
It's a podcast, man. Nobody gives a shit.
No, you're wrong. I give a crap. Okay.
I know. And you're new to this world.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we could get more people to watch if we just curse the whole time.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell a quick story.
Go ahead.
So I don't know what year it was. We were in training camp, mid-'80s. And Mr. Mara, who was the owner of the team, Wellington Mara, never gave really interviews. But he gave an interview, I think it was to the New York Times. And they said, well, Mr. Mara, what about the team? He goes, well, I'm really happy. The players are practicing hard. The coaches are tough. We're disciplined. They have great order and all this. All good. I mean, really over the top good. And it's when we were really good. And is there anything you want to complain about? And he goes, well, I wish the coaches could curse just a little less. Because back then, I don't know if our coaches could have coached without cursing. It was brutal. But, I would say brutal because that's just the way it was. You know, so, oh my gosh, but I can remember that. So, oh well.
Yeah. Parcells is one of the greatest cursors of all time. So.
Oh man, he had it. He was great.
Yeah. He had it. Yeah. Well, he's from the state of New Jersey, so that's why he had it.
Oh, as I've been up here for 4 years, is that right? 44? Yeah, 44 or 45, one of those.
Yeah.
It's going to It's going to be 45 here in a month or so. But
That's
oh well.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. Yes, and people still say, "Where are you from?" Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
That's really, I think, all we got for today, right?
Well, I got a few. Hold on. No, listen
All
real
right.
quick.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, let's get into
I just
some
got
of
to do
your.
it.
What's bothering you, big guy? Talk to me.
Well, what's bothering me, I have to hear people I know who didn't even watch any film. Well, Marvin Harrison would have had much more, but he had a subpar quarterback.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I see you shaking your head. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Yeah. He had C.J. Stroud, 77 catches. It went down with Kyle McCord to 67. They threw for basically the same amount of yards. Okay, both of them to Marvin Harrison. Oh, but wait, he had a bigger average per catch with Marvin Harrison. With Kyle McCord. Oh, Kyle McCord and C.J. Stroud both threw 14 touchdowns to Marvin Harrison. So where is that tremendous drop-off? A subpar quarterback. It drives me crazy. You couldn't have watched it. I watched every Ohio State game live last year.
These are the same people that wanted Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud in the draft too. But yeah.
Oh man, I hear people say some of this stuff. And I go, come on, there's no way you watched anything. You just heard somebody else say it, and now every time I hear about Marvin.
Well,
Harrison,
the real truth of it is that Ryan Day and the Ohio State offense wasn't that great. That's really what it comes down to, and that's why he went out and got Chip Kelly, because he knew that he needed to improve what he was doing offensively and take some pressure off himself, which I think good coaches understand too, is that they can't do everything. They need other people to do things really, really well.
Ohio State wasn't as good as they were the year before. Okay,
that's right.
They lost three offensive linemen to the NFL. They were all good. Oh my gosh! Jackson Smith and Jigma, he was just okay.
Yeah,
he was there. So
yeah,
that helps things out. But yeah, come on. I just hate. Tell the truth, okay?
Right.
Go watch something, then tell me the truth, and I'll be okay with it. But when you just, I heard somebody else say this, I like that. That's can reinforce my belief.
Well, what really happened though too is that everyone was on the Marvin Harrison, bandwagon the entire year. Rightfully so. He's having a great year. Ohio State's having a great year until they play Michigan, right? Let's face it too. This is a team that lost one game, so it's not like they had a bad year, right?
Yeah.
And then big picture, what really happened was the season ended and all the evaluators started watching film. Chris Sims included, and you start to realize. Yeah, you know what? Rome Odunze actually might be as good as Marvin Harrison in certain things. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, like these guys might be as good, if not maybe better than Marvin Harrison for what they were asked to do in their offenses and can be projected just as high. So I think it's just one of those things that just, Mel Kiper, he starts with a list. And then at the end of the year, that list gets adjusted or flipped. And it's the same thing that happened with Marvin Harrison here. I told you during the season with the Heisman watch, I was like, I'm not really sure why Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors aren't there with their quarterbacks at the Heisman, because they really were difference makers for their team each and every game. And they just didn't get enough credit because, for whatever reason, hey, granted, that's also too, I think, the power of Ohio State and really pushing their guy for the Heisman and having that power to do that. But, I thought the other two had just as impressive years, if not more impressive years, than Marvin Harrison and what they accomplished.
Hey, we've said nothing about knocking Marvin Harrison. He's going to have a tremendous NFL career. But I'm just complaining about the circumstances you're trying to put up there.
Yeah,
and he had a terrific year. So why do we got it? I did. If he had 10 more catches, we would say, he's going to be the first pick of the draft or whatever. I don't know. I just find it too easy and wrong because they're not doing their homework and they're telling a lie. That's what they're telling.
And you know what? It doesn't matter, because even if he had 10 more, even if he had 50 more catches, I don't care.
I know. It doesn't matter.
The Chicago Bears are still picking Caleb Williams, who potentially might be one of the greatest draft picks since Patrick Mahomes, right? And that's really saying something, because that's how good he looks on film and what he's done in his production. So
no doubt.
You just can't deny that, especially at the most important position in the NFL.
Sorry. Guess who's calling me? And I heard the phone.
Your daughter.
You got it.
Well, on that note, All right.
On that note,
Yep.
okay, that's it. Send this off, Papa.
So I'm Bob Papa. No,
No, you're not Papa. No, I wish you were. Yeah, there you go.
Oh man, that hurts. All right, so
No, you know what I mean.
I
didn't mean
know,
that
I
way.
know.
All
I'm
right, come on.
teasing. I'm teasing. I wish you were
Don't be-
Carl Banks, but
Don't get tender at this age. It's too late.
all right. So hey, Sims Complete fans, that's all we got for today. We'll hopefully get into some sort of ranking with Phil Simms. Been talking about him for the past 5 weeks about doing the rankings. He keeps drawing it out. I actually thought we were doing the rankings today, and then he throws this quarterback motion thing back in there. So he just cannot decide who he and what he wants to rank the quarterbacks at. So hopefully we'll get to that. So silence your phone, Phil. Silence your phone.
Yeah, I know. Damn, I just hung up. You think she give up, but she didn't. Hey, I'm doing the right thing. The draft week is coming. So the big thing is, can I get your butt to the table to
get
do this
the
with
phone
me?
away from your microphone? Holy shit, Phil.
What,
It's
you can
still
hear that?
vibrating next to the phone. Yes, and I could hear it every time you hit the table to make your point today. I heard that vibration. All right, unbelievable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we heard. We
All
heard
right, but
that every time.
don't wait. Okay, last thing. I'm going to do. Today is Sunday. So
Yeah.
are we going to do this Tuesday? We're going to do all this quarterback thing. Where we think they're going to be, and I'm going to rank them.
If that's the day that works best for you, Phil, then that will be the day that we do it.
You know, come on. Don't even say that because you know I'm always on your schedule.
Oh my God, get the hell out of here. All right, so
all right, let's go.
Hey, just tune into the next episode. We'll see what the hell we talk about. All right, don't worry about it. And all right, so follow Phil Simms on Instagram and Twitter at Phil Simms. Sims Complete from myself on Instagram and Twitter. All right, check out the YouTube page, Sims Complete. Thank you to Believe. Thank you to Big Phil. You look great with your new tan, and hopefully we'll do the quarterback rankings. I said the quarterback tans. The quarterback rankings here soon. All right, we're out of here. See you later. Goodbye. Damn.
That's right. It's tough working with me, isn't it? Damn, it's hard.
It's terrible. Stop hitting the mic.